Hello, everybody. Welcome back here. And thank you for watching the comments, the support. Appreciate it. If you need some personal assistance, you can reach me out here at dio.vesselinov.com. The energies. Before talking about the energies, if you watch yesterday's report, talk about the two Liliths. Basically, the two Liliths. Uh, the one of them, the mean Lilith, stays for a while. The one zodiac sign, it all depends. It sometimes is vary. But the true Lilith is the one that moves, go back and forth. A lot of the astrologers, they're using the true Lilith, that it's point out what you're currently working on, that what your current shadow is, while they not using the mean Lilith. Some of the astrologers, they're really using the mean Lilith. The reason is for it because she stays for about a year and a half in a zodiac sign. And that is where you're working on your shadow uh, within yourself, which is just point out this positions that we are coming. That's where she moves slow and going through the shadow periods. Some other astrologers, though, particularly people like me, we're using both. And talking about the both in there is that the true Lilith is actually shows up of the things that you are shifting. You're going back and forth. You have to move. While the mean Lilith is the shadow, the one that you actually, it's your stubbornness, in a way that it goes in. So currently, those two, they've been back and forth, coming together, separate together. The true Lilith has been bouncing around. She's been going to Scorpio, now she's back into Libra. This kind of like a jumping around is actually helps you to take that little chunk of pieces of that mean Lilith and becomes the truth. Okay, so by using it, the both Lilith, that actually represents much better. Um, the knots, they're also very helpful at these positions. But today, if you watched the yesterday's report, the moon, as mentioned, that the moon is going to be joining the both Liliths, which is going to happen exactly at midnight. And today, though, whether there comes in within these energies, we're going to have a lot of support. A lot of support from the divine is going to be brought. First of all, the support is being given from Uranus going towards the mean Lilith. It is about like it's time for you to work on this shadow. It's time to put the pressures in there. It's time to put things that doesn't work, and you need to understand what is not working. You have to let it go because you're you are basically wasting your time, effort, and energy. You need to focus somewhere else. Um, the moon, though, is going to be supporting from Venus and Saturn, and she's going to give us support for this beautiful balance. We are going to have a yacht at some point during the day as the moon is going to be going to Libra to create the balance. But you need to understand that the balance within yourself is first and the most is within you. Some other people have issues and problems, and when I'm talking to them there, and I'm pointing out that like, okay, you're blaming the other person, you're blaming the other situations. You may don't like your boss, you may don't like the person who did. They're the same person like you actually had a connection before. However, look at it inside of you. That maybe some portions of this is your own fault, and that is a where the true power of the meaning comes in of this combinations between within the Liliths. When you are able inside of you to look at your own faults, okay, and since the moon is going to be there, she's going to be representing that third party of you looking at your truth within you and looking at your faults within you. And as you guys know in there, the worst thing it is lying to yourself. Because right now we are dealing with an, Lilith in relationships, all the kind of like relationships in the past year and a half. They've been kind of like going down. We've been having this switches in there, but things is gonna be going even more interesting the next year because we're gonna be dealing a lot of it in the shadow. Particularly Lilith being Scorpio is gonna be taking some things. So this is what I wanted to give you a little information before I do the report today. Take a look at it where your Liliths are in your chart. I spoke on other astrologers' reports here for education of yourself is good. Take a look where your Liliths are, but look at it, both of them. Okay? Don't separate them just because you want to make it feel good. You're not looking to mean Lilith just because the true Lilith has a aspects when you are born, and there are not good aspects. It's like, oh well, some of the astrologers don't like the true Lilith. I have to abandon it. No, you need to understand that by looking at them both, you are having a perfect picture of how those two they're working together. The one takes chunks out of the other. The one is more stationary, the other it's moving, so you can be able to move this kind of like a, you imagine that your life it's like this cup filled up with water and mud pile up in the bottom. So the true Lilith is the one that takes little chunks of that mud and takes it out and cleans up that water. But every time when it digs out in there, guess what? You have to wait a little bit to settle down. And that's what she's moving back and forth. Okay, guys? All right. With that being said, I'm going to go into the astrology report today. A lot of divine interventions is coming. Like it or not, it is what it is, but it's needed. It's need that support. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, as the ascendant is going to be at Capricorn, it's going to be divine energies with Jupiter. You're going to be waking up with the moon being divine energies with Venus and Saturn. Very powerful for that union. Very powerful for that relationships. We are talking about the balance of the Libra that is going to be bringing the balance at the end. What do you mean at the end? Pisces is at the end. Okay, that is a when you reach out the peace with everything within you. That is a the time when you process all the emotions that you have not processed. That is a the time when you finding the true peace inside of you. You don't find that peace, guess what? You're gonna be come back here and working out everything. Okay, uh, with all the philosophy, particularly we're talking about within the karma. If you don't find the peace with the people inside of you, and you kind of like correcting everything in there, you're done with it. Okay, guess what? If you don't find the peace, you don't forgive them, and don't forgive it, guess what? You're gonna come back deal with them again here in the same situations, so it can resolve the problems. And this is has been going on around. And right now, Venus with Saturn is about this. You to find out the particular peace within the soul that it's not your business to do things, not to engage and create more karma in there, while it is about to resolve things. So the moon is going to give this divine union blessings, which is that is very well with Mercury, particularly what you're going to be telling to your own self, since the Mercury at 7 o'clock is going to be with the ascendant. You're going to see the first things in the morning. All right, 8 o'clock, the sun is rising. You're going to see it on the horizon. That is going to be the ascendant, who is going to be at the first minutes of Aquarius. A lot is going to go on in Aquarius, particularly we're talking about the new moon. It's going to be a very great meeting there at Aquarius, because the sun, Mercury, and Pluto and the moon, they're going to be at Aquarius. While the moon and the sun, they're going to be meeting around the 10th degree of Aquarius. Mercury and Pluto is going to be together. We are talking about Aquarius on steroids when this comes in. And you are going to be preparing for this from now on. So in the next, pretty much, we are talking about 9 days. You're going to be preparing there. Okay. So with those energies of preparations, guess what? You have to deal with the things they need to do. And since the moon is going to be beginning squaring Mercury, this energy is going to be pretty good. You don't want to talk. And opposing Chiron, that is coming in from unhealed wounds inside of you. But most of the unhealed wounds inside of you is unprocessed, ununderstood energies, emotions, and psychological wounds that you really did not understood because you think that you were right when you were wrong. And that is one of the paths that needs to be really look at it. All right, talking about the next hour, this is going to be at 9 o'clock. The midheaven is going to be at Sag, squaring Venus and Saturn and opposing Jupiter. Lack of the growth. We talk about that lack of growth. One of the part of the growing up is your own mistakes. One of the things that you need to see. And since Jupiter is retrograde, you really have to look at it. Were you able to do this? To own your own stuff to yourself, but seeing it and grow there. Because when are you growing, you're gonna be growing. And we're talking about within about pretty much within a month and a half, we are gonna be having something that is gonna be kick us really to move. Okay, really to move. So with these positions, the midheaven, there is a Sag is going to be sextiling with the moon. The moon right now is approaching the 16 degree. That 16 degrees, the union right there with Venus and Saturn at Pisces. This is that magical divine energies between Pisces, Libra in there, which is the balance that cannot be made at Virgo, is made it in Libra. Why? Because some of the balance you cannot do it within yourself. It's going to require to practice your relationship to be balanced with others. That's what the Libra is. So with this energies, the triggers is going to come, and they're going to be coming to testing you. And what are we talking about testing you? That is going to be when the midheaven is going to be at that first minutes within Capricorn at 10 o'clock. The ascendant is going to be with Neptune and the North Node. What are you willing to do? Are you willing to do everything that you got to do to be that energies? Currently, that position is not very well for talking about with everyone that is out in the public. Because of this T-squaring of the moon and Chiron, and with the midheaven right now that is squaring the knots. All this, it's kind of like a going down. Lack of publicity, lack of situations, lack of communications. But you need to understand the lack of communications is also a lack of understanding. Okay? And understanding is required what? Communications, internal and external. All right. Speaking about those communications, at 11 o'clock, midheaven is going to be with Mercury putting that pressure because that energy is also opposing Mars. We are going to see in it as the moon is processing more and more. She's going to be later on squaring Mars. She's currently squaring Mercury together with both Liliths. We have the moon currently at 15 degrees. The mean Lilith it's at 22, and the true Lilith is at 25 degree at Libra. Relationships. A lot of relationships right now, they have one big giant question mark. And you are wondering, what is this energy? Even if you don't think about it, okay? That energy is actually the collective energy, is the field that we are in, okay? It has its purpose. It has this purpose in there to question where the world is going to go. And if you're questioning relationships with everyone and everything and whatever it's so on, you need to understand there is going to be some things that needs to be processed from within. But that energy is going to be great with Venus and Saturn. That is going to be helping you to find that piece of unprocessed emotions that is really needed, because that's what it prevents. Because you bring old unhealed emotions within relationships. Be mindful about the work situation, since the midheaven is going to be at Capricorn. there. If you have anything in a Capricorn, I suggest you to pay attention to this because Mercury is going to be coming through this. He's currently at 17 degrees there, and everything that goes on in there at work, business, or business relationships, you need to be very kind of like a cautious with that because as the moon is going to be squaring these energies, and since the Chiron is squaring those energies and Mars is opposing it, I think he's going to be turning south pretty quick. Some of the people who have no process emotions, they're expecting the work to be treated as they were supposed to treat it as a family. And when they don't get to this family environment at work, guess what? They say like you bosses are not care and so on. You cannot look a family environment at work. Yeah, you're right. You spend 8 to 9 hours at your job, most of it, and you spend like 4 or 5 hours at home. Okay, an average of day, that's what happens, right? But that is one of the parts of the Mars that does evaluations right now, and that's what is this oppositions that it's going to beginning with Mercury. So in the next pretty much 2 weeks, we are going to be going into a lot of communications issues. Are you vulnerable? That was going to be the issue. Okay, giving you a heads up, guys. All right, 12 o'clock authority time. Midheaven is going to be with the sun. Now that squaring in there with the midheaven and the true and the min Lilith towards there beginning to be a more active with this. The sun is beginning to wondering what is going on. But the trine with the south node and its sextile the north node, this is what you need to see. The authority learned from the past is like in the past, I didn't process those emotions because right now I see it myself. Let me explain a little bit about this for a second. Okay. So you have a kid, and now you have the same situations as your parents had the same situation where you were as a kid. You did not process certain emotions, and now the things is repeating. But this time, you're the parent. Now you understand the proper emotions within you of that authority that it's coming. And now you understand why your parents act like this. But they did not explaining themselves to you. And now you understand the new path is when something goes on in there and you do something with that, you have to explain your kids so they can process those emotions, not just wondering and asking why not and why is this and what is so on. You to learn to proper communicate in a way. All right. With that energy, in the next hour, we are going to be getting to a much better positions since the ascendant is going to be in divine energies with Mercury. Divine talks, it's needed. The midheaven is going to be at Aquarius, powerful energies between the moon, Jupiter, very interesting moments that is going to come. And with the divine energies, they're going to be supporting right now as the moon is at 16 degrees, 34 minutes. We are having a Saturn at 16 degrees, 14 minutes. We have Venus that it's 17 degrees, 29 minutes, and Pisces. Those divine energies, they're going to be beginning to be widen up. And when I'm talking about widen up, it is the divine love is going to start kicking in as the ascendant getting support from the Gemini. Now, this Gemini energy is there. It's about the friendliness. Okay, when you digging it within yourself, digging it within the friendliness, and you may gonna get some triggers from friends, family, and positions, but you need to understand the ones who shows you your faults, they're your true friends, which is they're not kind of like a painting in there. Oh yeah, the other person was wrong. There's nothing wrong with you when they exactly know things was wrong with you. So you gotta be very careful, figuring out the truth, but don't get mean to people who telling you the truth. All right. All right. 2 o'clock. Ascendant is going to be at Cancer. That is going to be divine energies towards the authority in Pluto. As the moon and the Lilith, they're receiving divine energies from Saturn and Venus and Uranus and the energies to the moon Lilith, you understand everything has its purpose. The universe has its fingers on that. And later on, as the moon is going to be approaching the moon Lilith, we are going to be really figuring that out. So now you're getting a little bit preview because that energy is beginning to be active. That energy is going to come in as strong as it is. This is going to be showing you that the reflections of the relationships is actually the reflections of the relationship within your own self. Okay, so seeing it within yourself is going to be the best thing to do. At 3 o'clock, the energy is going to be a little bit intense because all the T squares beginning to be very much active, particularly with Mercury. Not a positive aspects with Chiron. Sorry, it is what it is. The moons are yours. Okay, so digging it in there is going to be taking a current strength, power, dignity, and honor to your own self. It's called vulnerability within one sense. Okay, so be vulnerable with this and open about it. The midheaven that is going to be with Saturn and Venus is going to be helping you out. That is it, that the ascendant is a training with the midheaven with Saturn and Venus. That is it about it. You understand the reason why you have to forgive yourself, the reason why you have to process all the emotions, the reason why something happening right now and you learning enough positions of an older when you cannot process the energies when you are young. So this is gonna comes in, helps you, with this moment to understand and prepare you for a much better way of relationships. Okay, much better way. All right. Next hour, the ascendant is going to be with Mars, while the midheaven is going to be with the North Node. I spoke about those energies so many times. Even though the sun right now, it's a 51 minutes, is beginning to that perfect um, union with Pluto. By the way, happy birthday, Aquarius. Everyone who is Aquarius should be enjoying it right now. Those energies right there, there is sextile, and then that sextile going to Mars resolve the conflicts. You're renovating yourself and understanding that the conflict doesn't solve issues. Silence doesn't solve issues. Okay, so actually the silence can turn into ignorance, and ignorance can turn to hate, and that hate is gonna make you sick. It is what it is. So by you understanding this, you understand that the new things, the new beginnings is required. And right now, as the moon is going to beginning to move more and more, that pressure within the Liliths begins to develop inside of your own self. All right, next hour, the midheaven is going to be with Chiron. Like it or not, unprocessed emotions is going to be coming out on the surface. It's at 5 p.m. Probably a lot of you is going to come after work, and you're going to be wondering what the heck I am doing. This is going to be an energy that's going to be squaring Mars, opposing the three feminine energies, which is the moon and the two Liliths, and it's going to be a squaring Mercury. This is at the times that you don't want to say the truth with you. You don't want to even see the truth in there. This is the moment when the truth is pushing you to a place and a moment that even you cannot standing your own self, because the truth has its power. Essence, all those three is gonna come in together with all this and with the revaluations of Mars. It's gonna be like that's what you need to do. Could be hard, could be harsh, but one thing, it's gonna be worth it. All right, 6 p.m. as the ascendant goes into Leo, we are going to get these divine energies from Mercury, Venus, and Saturn at the same time. Venus and Saturn pointing out divine energies towards the moon, and that energies are going from the moon and the Liliths going back into Uranus. You see, the universe knows how to do things. He wants to show you that you can be the proper queen or a king inside of yourself. But you don't have to fight the universe because he knows everything. Absolutely everything. All right, midheaven is going to be a Taurus, and with that energy very close to Uranus, is going to be double down, double deep in there with this divine energies towards the Lilith and the Moon. Very beautiful because all this downsides work that needs to be done right now, that downsize is going to come with this purpose. The pressure is going to be so much. But the divine energies from the Sun and Pluto and the North Node and Neptune is going to be shows up. They are going to point out because the ascendant is at the end of Leo, the beginning of Virgo. Those energies, they still active so much. All right, next hour we have the ascendant is going to be at Virgo, while the midheaven is going to be at Gemini, trining the Sun and Pluto. That is it about the authority, decide to change, to transform. A lot of rebellions, expecting a lot of personal rebellions, first of all, and a lot of things that has to be really deep looking at. And we're going to be seeing at that deep looking at tomorrow. And when we're talking about tomorrow, we're going to have the moon going into Scorpio. With that energies going into Scorpio, we are going to be have a very powerful digging up. Okay? Very powerful digging up. But that is going to be when at the moon, it's going to be a third quarter square towards the sun. You're going to be working in the last quarter of the lesson of Capricorn by finishing that lesson in Aquarius. All right, 9 o'clock, the ascendant is opposing Venus and Saturn, and the midheaven is square as all this. I mean, you want your own way. And Jupiter says, like, not now. Cannot be your way. You haven't matured, you haven't grown, you haven't understood, you're not aware of. Focus there. Focus of that love within you. Because when you're gonna be living in peace from your own soul, the life is completely different. Where you're living from the worries and fights and want it to be your way, you are not happy in life. Where does that put you? Right? And with the improper communications, the situations is getting worse. And you understand yourself, harm yourself. So the ascendant that is going to be at Virgo, we are talking about a very powerful ascendant that right now is at 19 degrees there. He is in divine energies with Aries. Those divine energies there is start being perfections within yourself. See the things they're not doing perfect, practice them, work on it, read books, educate yourself, changing yourself. That is that power. That is at this moment you to use it. The energy though from the moon is going to start increasing because right now the moon is at 20 degrees, the mean Lilith is at 22 degrees, and the true Lilith is at 24 degrees. They are like 2 degrees apart from each other. But the effects on it from them is going to be so much. So with this energies, we have a Mars that is at 24 degrees and Mercury that is at 18 degrees and Capricorn. Cardinal changes. Okay? It's all about cardinal changes. It's going to be require major cardinal reset like an army. Okay? But this time, you're the one who determined what needs to be removed from your life. All right, next hour, 10 o'clock, midheaven is going to be at the beginning of Cancer, divine energies towards the authority in Pluto. You have to know why you're doing this. Just because you are not raised in a healthy family, that doesn't mean you cannot build one. That's what that energy is. Okay? Because right now you see this energies the way they are. Cannot going into the future if you have not healed the past. That mid-heaven, it is gonna be precisely, I mean, talking about precisely, is gonna be squaring the knots. So that energy around 10 o'clock can be a very heavy on you, particularly if you have a visions or something from within the past. All right, 11 o'clock is coming now. The yacht between the Venus and Saturn and Uranus there is gonna come kicked in a high gear. You're seeing it, you see the purpose, you see the why. You know why you have to have a piece at the end. That is when you figure it out that it was not only your partner's fault, that was also your own fault situations. That was not things that was working. And that is when you maturing and growing. You're like, okay, I saw my faults, I worked them out, now I'm ready. This is going to be about these new beginnings. If you're right now in a partnership and you work with a partner, great, because right now you're practicing this. Okay, some of you is going to be really practicing that energy. You may have a rough time though in the relationships with all those Liliths, but it is what it is. And here it's that energy is a midnight. I'm suggesting you to go to bed at 10. Okay, take a sleeping pill and go to 10, because if you reach and you cannot sleep at night and you're going into this 12 o'clock midnight energy, you're going to have a rough time. Okay, here's what happens. All right, right at midnight, the ascendant, the moon is going to be rising with both Liliths in there. So you have ascendant at 21 degrees. You have the moon at 21 degrees, the min Lilith 22 degrees, the true Lilith it's 24 degrees. They are squaring the ascendant at the ascendant that is currently at 21 degrees at Cancer together with Mars. And all this energy is going to be opposing Pluto and the Sun. Also, it's going to begin to be opposing a little bit earlier Mercury. But it's more about that energy that it's opposing Chiron, the unhealed wounds in there. If you feel like wounded from within you, why you are suffering? You see, usually the person who suffer is the one who haven't forgive, because he's still carrying the pain of how the others wounded it. And if you heal that pain, you're going to be in a very beautiful place. But it's the same time in there, if you wounded people, how that going to be, right? And how those is the reflections within the relationships. Now, if you look at it in the chart, on the one side, we have the butterflies in there, and the other side, we have the squares that's going to come. The intensity of the energy is going to be so much. But I wish that some of you, it's going to come in and really release, let it go. Trust the divine. Give it to everything to the universe. The universe knows what to do with it. You don't have to avenge. You don't have to revenge. You just have to let it go. Don't go back into live without pain, because by living without pain in there, we're talking about the Chiron areas. I wounded myself, so I can know how that feels. So when I heal myself, I can help others to heal. There you go. That is the tip for you. Let it go. Let it go of something that wounded you. It doesn't matter how bad it is. Doesn't matter how you feel like there. Okay? Because when you find out this within yourself, you outgrow that within you. You're stepping up within the age of Aquarius. Big time. Not big, I'm sorry. Huge time. All right, guys. So that's all I have for you. If you have any questions or anything there, please leave a comment below the video. Thank you so much, guys. I wish you a great help. I wish you a great day, because the help from the divine that is going to be coming is going to be supporting you all day long throughout those energies. They are going to be intensive. There are going to be times that you don't want to talk. There's going to be some intense communications. There's going to be some intense internal processes within you. But with all these situations, guys, you're going to get the help. And don't be afraid to reach out for help. That is also a part of trick and a growth. All right, guys. Thank you, Andrea, and thank you. Hi, Joe. If you guys have some any questions, you may ask now. Hi, Sonia. I mean, Twin Flame Power. Hello. And if you guys have some questions, there's gonna be some energies actually right now as we're talking, because this is gonna be a feminine energies, unresolved emotion wounds from mother, the relationships with mother, how that will be in your life. Do you still looking for the mother? And that is going to be more connecting with this Mars that is going to be at Cancer, the wounded Mars that never received the love that he wanted to have within mother. Now it's reflecting in its own relationships. So there's gonna be so much digging in there. If you're masculine and you're right now, you're wondering why did the females doesn't love you? Is like, well, they're not your mother. You haven't forgive your mother, so you can understand that those females that you're attracting, they are like your mother, so you can forgive. So if you're masculine, you're working on your masculine energies, and you do exactly what I just said, there to work on it, you're going to be able to heal the most important of abandonment from your mother. Okay? And that is going to be helping you to rise up, to be independent, to heal something that you don't have to carry with you. And also, you don't have to pass this to the next generation. And that's the main goal. It's called Cancer family. And that's what the Revelations is about. All right, guys. Since there is no questions, thank you so much. Let's share the love and the light, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna be diving with another day of the things within the shadow, as the moon's gonna be going into Scorpio.